Have you ever been wronged? Felt the sting of an insult, a slap, or a betrayal? In those moments, the natural reaction is to defend yourself, to fight back. But what if the very thing we're told to do in those moments is the opposite? What if Jesus, whose teachings have shaped the course of history, was telling us to not retaliate, but to turn the other cheek? Let that sink in. Jesus' words are as radical today as they were 2,000 years ago. So why did he say this? And what does it really mean for us? This isn't just some abstract theological question. It's about how we live, how we respond to conflict, pain, and injustice in a world that demands we fight back. As a servant of God, I am here to guide you in his teachings. In this video, we're diving deep into one of the most challenging and misunderstood teachings of Jesus. By the end of this, you'll understand why turning the other cheek is more than just a passive act of surrender. It's a profound, life-changing act of defiance, strength, and spiritual transformation. So, let's explore what it really means to follow Jesus in this area, and how it can change the way you see conflict and forgiveness in your own life. Let's set the stage. Picture yourself in the midst of a tense situation. Someone insults you, shames you, or even strikes you. What do? You probably think, I need to stand up for myself. I can't let them get away with this. That's the instinctive response we all have. But then, there's this shocking command from Jesus in Matthew 5, verse 39. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. This isn't just about physical violence. This is about how we respond to all types of harm, emotional, verbal, social. Jesus is addressing humiliation, not just physical injury. Think about it. Imagine being publicly shamed. Your first instinct would be to defend yourself, to prove you're not weak. But Jesus says, turn the other cheek. This isn't just meekness. It's a radical statement about who gets the last word in a situation. The one who retaliates might seem powerful, but the one who chooses peace and dignity, even in the face of insult, is the one who embodies true strength. Before we go any further, let's clear up some misconceptions. First, it's not about letting people walk all over you. It's not about enduring abuse, silently accepting mistreatment, or being a doormat. If someone is harming you, emotionally or physically, Jesus is not saying, stay in that situation. This is about choosing a different path when we're wronged, not letting anger or pride dictate our response. Second, it's not about turning the other cheek to someone who is physically violent and putting yourself in danger. Jesus wasn't advocating for passivity in the face of real harm. In fact, in other parts of Scripture, Jesus shows clear opposition to injustice and even turns over tables in the temple. Matthew 21, verse 12. This act of turning the other cheek is about choosing peace and refusing to escalate the situation in a way that harms you or the other person. So what's really going on here? What does Jesus want us to learn from this? At its core, Jesus is teaching us about power. The kind of power that doesn't rely on force or domination. The kind of power that breaks the cycle of retaliation. By refusing to strike back, you actually take control. You're no longer controlled by the other person's behavior or your own emotions. Think about it. When someone insults you and you retaliate, you're giving them power over your emotions, your actions. But when you turn the other cheek, you are taking back your freedom. You're deciding that your peace is not determined by their actions. You're saying, I'm not bound by the need to prove myself. My dignity comes from a higher source. Let's bring this teaching into the real world. Many of us are familiar with Martin Luther King Jr., a man who was committed to nonviolence in the face of unimaginable hatred and violence. King understood deeply the power of turning the other cheek. When he faced violence during the civil rights movement, be it through physical beatings, insults, or threats, he didn't retaliate with hate or violence. Instead, he chose to respond with love, peace, and the belief that his dignity was never tied to how others treated him. One of King's most famous quotes comes to mind. We must meet hate with love. It's a living embodiment of turning the other cheek. In those moments of hatred, King didn't shrink back or succumb to bitterness. He chose love, and in doing so, he changed history. Okay, now it's time to make this practical. You're probably thinking, but I'm not a historical figure like Martin Luther King Jr. How can I apply this to my everyday life? Here are a few real-life ways to live out this teaching. In your relationships, when someone wrongs you, Whether it's a friend, family member, or coworker, choosing not to retaliate can be the hardest thing. But instead of responding in anger, choose to respond with grace. You might not agree with them, but you can refuse to let their actions steal your peace. In social media, today, insults and disagreements are often thrown around on social platforms. It's easy to clap back, but what if, instead, you turn the other cheek? Imagine the power in refusing to engage in unnecessary online drama. You don't have to prove your worth through every comment or post. In moments of injustice, whether it's workplace unfairness or societal prejudice, there's a powerful freedom in choosing peace over vengeance. Standing up for what's right doesn't always mean fighting fire with fire. Sometimes, it means choosing a different approach, one that reflects your integrity and faith in God's timing. When you choose to turn the other cheek, you might feel vulnerable at first. It might seem like you're losing, but in reality, you're gaining something far greater: peace and freedom. You're free from the burden of retaliation, free from bitterness, free from letting someone else's actions control your happiness. Jesus knew that the world would try to pull us into cycles of revenge, hatred, and hurt. But he offers us a way of love, peace, and radical forgiveness. In this freedom, we find the peace that transcends understanding. So, what did Jesus mean when he said, "Turn the other cheek"? He wasn't just telling us to tolerate injustice. He was offering a profound invitation to live differently, to be free from the cycle of harm and retaliation, to choose peace in a world that often chooses conflict. Now, I want to hear from you. What does turning the other cheek look like in your life? Have you experienced the power of choosing peace over conflict? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might need this message today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.